Although no one can predict what facets of childhood will leave the biggest impression as we make our way through adulthood, for most people, school is certainly near the top of their lists. After all, for the first 13 years of our life, we spend the vast majority of our time in school. And for a long time in American history, schools served many functions. Educating young people was the primary goal, of course, but schools were also community meeting places, doubled as churches, and generally held small towns together. For the original residents of Dravosburg, Pennsylvania, the 3rd Street School impacted the way they look back on their childhood. Constructed in 1906, the school opened its doors to the community on September 23, 1907. 3 stories of mottled brick loomed over the kids and staff. The school had 11 classrooms total and an auditorium which occupied most of the 3rd floor. In addition to the school itself, a memorable piece was the cannon outside, which was presented to the school by former servicemen and women from Dravosburg in 1921. The cannon was built by G.W. Armstrong Whitworth and Company of Newcastle-on-Tyne, England, as a coastal defense gun. It characterized itself as a regular hangout spot for kids of all ages. Doug Baxter of Dravosburg Community Archives says he can still picture himself walking along the barrel of the cannon outside the school. He recalls being a young boy and whiling away long summer days eating popsicles on top of the cannon. Events, picnics, staff members, and the sense of community is what made the school so valuable to residents. Even after the school was closed down in 1975, it held meetings for the Women's Club and other community groups in the basement. When it was made known that the school was being scheduled for demolition, hearts were broken. Locals were told that the building was considered unstable, that the walls were shifting and it needed to be torn down. Many townspeople disagreed, but it was too late. February 24, 1996. The first day of demolition. Former students and staff gathered around the school. Mr. Baxter says he remembers the wrecking ball bouncing off the side of the building. The so-called unstable school would not budge. They kept going, and eventually the school began to crumble. I have taken down a lot of buildings in my time, but I've never seen such an outpouring of sadness and disbelief at the destruction of this one, stated the superintendent of the demolition crew. By April, no evidence that the school remained beyond the bricks that residents took home as memorabilia and the cannon, which can now be found outside of the American Legion. Although decades have passed, residents still reminisce about the school. Bob Melder says, "I miss seeing 3rd Street School. That's where I spent almost every summer night playing Release until my mom whistled for us to come home or the fire hall's 10 p.m. siren went off, whichever came first. I had a blast there and wouldn't change it for anything." In fact, residents love the school so much that they still create paintings, plates, and even a model of the 3rd Street School built out of cereal boxes. All of these artifacts and a school desk can be found at Dravosburg Community Archives at 400 Euclid Avenue in Dravosburg, Pennsylvania. Posing the question of the 3rd Street School to longtime Dravosburg residents guarantees eliciting a smile. Recollections of loving staff members and a cannon to spend their leisure time stamps a lifelong memory. While most of us cannot predict what pieces of childhood will impact our memory, the residents of Dravosburg can say that the 3rd Street School will always be standing when they recall the building they once loved.